It's not even out yet.
Let's go to the... No, I want to go to the treehouse.
Every time I go in the bathroom.
As many people do.
But essentially, they go to the treehouse.
I can't even make fun of it because that actually sounds quite good.
That's actually throw it against the wall and watch it crawl down.
Yeah.
John, would you like to start us off with your number 2?
Into.
Okay, well, my number 2.
It's not cold again, is it?
It's got quite cold again.
You need to switch the heating on.
I need to get a radiator in here.
Put an SMGH sweater on.
No, of course, we're going on an epic journey to the land of Frosthaven. And I know one member of this group will, of course, go into this in much more detail. But I'll just mention briefly, it is a standalone game in the Gloomhaven universe. I've got 1 to 4. Is it 1 to 5?
Who knows?
He doesn't know. We're not sure.
It's 1 to 4, John. 1 to 4.
I thought it was 1 to 4. Yeah. As the original Gloomhaven, it's card based. So you use a power on the top of your one card and the power from the bottom of the other card to work your way through dungeons and explore. But in this one, there is going to be a lot more to do outside of the quests. There's going to be mysteries and things like that. Crafting, building your actual outpost up. So rather than having things in the shop, you might have to craft and build your own items and things. And mysteries and things. I don't know what that quite will be, but that would be interesting because I think that was the weaker point of Gloomhaven was the
that it's advertised in an RPG and just isn't an RPG.
No, not that.
This is an RPG with no role playing. Just a game.
This is it. I think it's just to put it into a category so people sort of get an idea of what it's slightly like.
They were going to call it a PG, but they felt people are getting confused with teabags. So
yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, the weakest part for me is the road events and the city events. So hopefully a bit more to do exploration wise would be something that's a rather good, a good addition for me. We're looking at this year sometime. I couldn't actually find when it said it was going out, but I'm sure Adam will elaborate on that. But yes, we've played Gloomhaven, probably the most I've ever played any game. A group of us at SMGH have played 30-something times over the space of 3 years. One of those years, of course, has been in lockdown, so we haven't played it as much as we would have. But yeah, Frosthaven, my number 2.
Okay, moving on then, Jay.
So my number 2, it's actually a follow-up to a game that I finished today. And it's called Cantaloupe Book 2, A Hack of a Plan. And it's by a company called Lookout Games. And essentially, I presume a few of you have probably heard of Curse of Monkey Island games and all the LucasArts games. If you like them, you'll absolutely love this. It's a point-and-click adventure done as a board game. And it works, and it works really, really well. Me and Rachel played it. We started it 2 days ago, and I must admit, I played a lot of like escape room games and things like that, and I've started getting a little bit fed up of them. And a lot of the puzzles in it, I've got a bit fed up of how they work. I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this, and it is superbly done. I've got book 1 here, so I can actually show you. That's book 1, which we finished today. And I'll try and show you a little bit of how it works, in the sense that it has this. The art is done just like all the Monkey Island games and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got, where you've got the little red visor, so you can have a look at the bits. You'll have a card, and then if you put the card next to the code on here, it'll give you a unique code that you look up here. But it's got the humor of the Monkey Island, all the dad jokes. It's got you've got an inventory, so you've got a sheet where you can combine items and see if that works and everything like that. It's amazingly done, and we finished playing it today. I absolutely loved it, and I know the second one's out in summer. It's part of a trilogy. There's going to be 3 parts to it. They're 99% done on the second volume and 45% done on the third, I believe. And the person who's done it is also making other games using the same game system. And if anyone wants to check it out, I know on Board Game Geek there's a print and play of a prequel for it that you can print out and just try it out. But pretty cheap. I think it cost me about 20 quid for the first book, so it's you know, it's not dead expensive. But it's one of the best experiences we've had with a board game for ages, and I would absolutely highly recommend it. And I can't wait for volume 2.
Give you 15 quid for it. Played it now, Jay. You don't need to play it again. I can't even make fun of it because that actually sounds quite good.
Ray said to me, "You're selling it." I'm like, I enjoyed it so much. I actually want to keep it, but I probably won't replay it, and I don't know why. But I don't know.
Is it to do with melons or something? With it being called Cantaloupe, or is it just someone's name?
No, that's the name of the place where it's based.
Right.
Essentially, the story itself, you play this guy called Hook, who he's trying to get a gang together for a heist, and essentially needs to break into prison to get this hacker who's in prison to help him. And so you're just puzzling it out like that. But a couple of the puzzles use like escape room tactics where you kind of got to really look for little clues, you know, like I don't want to spoil anything, but you know, there might be some clues which are visually, but then some of them
like the unlock games.
And yeah, kind of. And but the other thing it's got as well, which I'll quickly show you just because it's here, isn't it? So it's got a hint system. So as you play, hold on, getting to the right page. As you play, it's got, you just tick off as you go along certain boxes, and if you get stuck, you just look at the first box that you've not ticked, and then it's got first a tip, then tip 2, and then the solution.
Oh, okay.
So you can look at hints without giving it away. It's just honestly, it's exactly like I remember playing when I played Monkey Island and stuff like that. Absolutely super.
Right. Sounds amazing. Brilliant.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
okay.
Steve.
Just in at number 2, it's Cantaloupe. No, I'm joking. That's a great game.
Sounds good.
I have one by a designer that I have a love and not so love, depends on the game really. Vital Lacerda is his name, and a game coming out this year is Weather Machine. There's not too many details on it, but it sounds like a nice thing. It's essentially what it is. This Weather Machine has been created to avert natural disasters by Professor Sani Latif. I'm sure I've got that right in terms of my pronunciation. And basically, you play scientists trying to help him with it. What you're trying to do is, and because companies want to use it to make their holiday destinations better, you know, in wars, perhaps, you know, to help people in there with their tactics for wars and those kinds of things. But the trouble is, when you create a weather effect that you want in one area, it possibly creates weather effects that are not wanted in other areas. So possibly potentially creating disasters like landslides and things like this. So it's all quite a good little sort of story around it. And so what you're trying to do is get resources, because it's a resource management game, shockingly enough, who'd have thought.
Wow,
honestly sometimes I don't know how I come up with it. Honestly, really don't. So you're trying to do your own contracts and help yourself to do that and climb up the business ladder. But it's just the nice concept of the fact that you can actually change the weather with this machine and just basically just work your way up the ladder and get as many points as possible, converting resources to points, but in a slightly different manner. And obviously with the history of Vitalis and things like the Gallerist, you know, it's like these are the kinds of games that sort of I like to sort of work my head around. So looks like good. That's really all the details of it, other than knowing that it's 4 weight, which is sort of as part of the course for Lacerda. But yes, I think that's going to be a very nice game coming up in 2021. No dates, unfortunately.
Okay, brilliant. Sounds good.
Good. Steve puts one of them on his list every year.
Yeah. It sounds like it's basically Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the game.
Yeah,
but with a lot less fun. Okay, I don't want any fun being involved in my game.
No, we don't want fun in our games.
Cheeseburger.
Crazy.
Oh my god! Don't mention the F word. That's ridiculous. I don't want that in my games. Thank you very much. Crunchy numbers is what you need.
Sounds good.
Anyway, carry on.
So, my number 2 is a game which one of the designers you all know. It's upcoming game by Rainer Knizia together with Martino Chiacchiara, and it's called, just sort of do a little Italian flourish there, it's called Witchstone, due out this year. Witchstone looks like an interesting combination of sort of worker placement and collection, and a little bit of engine builder. So essentially we are all, or the players are all representatives of a sort of magic guild that are trying to collect and place crystals around a sort of magical stone, and you score points by manipulating crystals in your cauldron, moving crystals around on the board that you share. So you have your own little play area with a cauldron that you're messing with, and then you're messing with the stones on the board, collecting cards, that sort of thing. And there are 11 rounds, plays between 60 and 90 minutes. So that should be right up your alley, Steve, in the butter zone. Looks to be quite interesting. Artwork looks fantastic. So got that fantasy theme that obviously everyone knows I like, but also seems to have combine a few elements of games that I've enjoyed recently. So things like Quacks, where you have your cauldron and you're moving things around in your cauldron, which I really like, Quacks of Quedlinburg, but a bit more interaction on the main board rather than just working with your own board. The one thing that Quacks doesn't have is a great deal of interaction. So it sort of breaks out from that. So it looks very interesting. Not a great deal of detail come out in terms of release date or weight or how much it's going to cost, but all that's come out at the moment is there are a few pictures. It looks very, very nice. And as I say, 60 to 90 minutes. So looks like a nice medium weight game, maybe, your second game of the night after you've played a quick intro game or something. You could probably play that if you're at a club or at home and maybe get one more game in afterwards. So looks pretty good. That's nice. My number 2.
It sounds up my street, that one.
It does actually. I thought it might tickle your fancy, that one. Okay, Adam.
Can you throw it at the wall at the end of the night and watch it slide down?
No, it's only Sticky Cthulhu has that. So
we can't do that with every game, can we?
We could try.
We could try. Blue Haven, go straight through the wall.
Yeah.
It could just be that you want to throw it up against the wall. We'll see, won't we?
Okay, Adam.
Okay, my number 2 is a game called Darwin's Journey.
I saw this one. Sorry, yeah.
I did.
Steve, I honestly thought you would. This is your kind of game.
I looked at it. I really did look at it. Sorry, go carry on.
So 1 to 4 players. 30 minutes per player, it says, so we'll see about that. So basically it's a worker placement Euro in which players recall Charles Darwin's memories of his adventure through the Galapagos Islands, which obviously contributed to the development of his theory of evolution. The meat of the game is you're kind of exploring these islands, discovering new species, learning more about them, and then you've got to send your findings back to England and ultimately contribute to the theory of evolution track. The interesting thing about this is it slowly develops asymmetric workers. So you kind of have to develop workers' skills so that they can access different actions on the board. So that's interesting. Obviously, everyone will be doing different things. There's actual exploration in the game. So one of the worker placement spots is you're able to sail a ship from one island to another island, and then you'll set an adventurer onto that island. And then another worker spot is to move that adventurer around the island to find new creatures. The reason why I think this is going to be a hit is it's the same designer as Barrage, which was my number one, probably my number 1 game of 2019. So combine that, which is take that, madness, dam building theme, and it worked so well. So with that designer combo, and then the theme that for me, that's right up my street. That sings to me, this theme. I think it's going to make for quite an interesting proposition. So I estimate that'll be a hit, and that's November estimated. So we'll see if it is November. But yeah, I've got good feeling about
Gameplay
it.
sounds a bit like the Village. Have you played the Village?
Absolutely, yeah.
Sounds similar in the way that it seems to play from how you describe it. So that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, the village you kind of explored in a separate area, which I can see what you said, and you got a bonus in that area. So yeah, there is a little bit, but there's different islands. So you might be exploring one island, someone else might be somewhere else. Whereas the village, you were all in a similar sort of area, and you could go on the same spots and do the same things. So, but yeah, I don't. It looks good. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
Wonderful.